Like a lot of you, I've spent more time than I'd like to admit trying to figure out how to grow my own business. I've read through posts on forums, watched a million videos on advice, and gone through a rabbit hole of tutorials that always make it feel like I'm doing something wrong. So instead of adding to that pile, I've decided to try something a little bit different in this series. We're going to focus on real problems from real business people and actually work through what I'd do if I was them. This week, I found something on Reddit about social media consistency that I think a lot of you will recognize immediately. In the small business subreddit, someone posted, I get that it's important, but actually sitting down to come up with ideas, write posts, tweak wording, and keep things consistent feels way more draining than it should. They ended with 3 questions that I think most small business owners ask themselves silently at some point. Is it the ideation, the writing, or the constant pressure to post? Do you push through it, batch it, outsource it, or just avoid it? And has anything actually made it any less painful? This post had over 60 upvotes and 80 comments. The top comment says, the constant pressure to post is what kills me. I'll have a decent idea, but then I overthink it to death and end up posting nothing. The second comment here is the one worth paying attention to, because it's not describing a content problem, it's describing a decision-making problem, and those two things have very different fixes. The way most business owners frame this is either a time or creativity problem. They don't have enough ideas, don't have the hours, or content creation just isn't in their skill set. So solutions they reach for look like hire a social media manager, buy a content calendar, post less often, or just accept the fact that content isn't for them. But none of those address what's actually happening, because the drain these owners are describing isn't coming from the content itself. It's coming from making the same set of decisions repeatedly, from scratch, every time they sit down to post. What should I write about today? Is this idea good enough? Is this wording right? Or will anyone even care? Those decisions are expensive. Not in time, because they may only take like 20 minutes, but in cognitive load. And when you're running a business and get tired late night on a Tuesday, the easiest decision is to not post anything at all. This is exactly what the top comment described. A decent idea, overthought to death, but never posted. There's a concept from the psychology of habits called decision fatigue. The more decisions you make in a day, the worse each subsequent decision becomes in quality. It's why consistent content creators don't sit down and decide what to write every time they post. They've already made those decisions well in advance. The topic categories they cover, the structures they follow, and the standard their content needs to meet before it gets out. None of those decisions get made fresh each time. They get made once, encoded to a system, and then the only decision left is the execution. The owner of this post isn't running out of ideas or time. They're running out of the capacity to make those decisions before the post ever gets written. And the fix isn't outsourcing the content, it's outsourcing the decisions. So what does removing decision-making friction actually look like for a small business owner at this stage? The decision sequence has 3 steps. The first step is deciding in advance what you do and don't write about. Not every post, just the boundaries. For a service business, it might be something as simple as, I write about problems my clients bring to me, lessons I've learned from my jobs, and things I've noticed in my industry. That's 3 categories every time you sit down to post. The question then isn't what should I write about? It's which of these 3 categories does my idea actually fit into? That single shift removes the hardest decision from the whole process entirely. The second step is replacing your quality standard with a quality floor. A standard asks, is this the best version of what I could write? A floor asks, is this honest? Is this relevant? And does it respect my audience's time? The top comment of that post described overthinking an idea to death. That's a standard problem, because the idea was good enough, but the standard was too high. A floor lets you ship a decent idea. A standard holds it hostage until it becomes the perfect idea, which often means it usually ends up never shipping at all. The third step is stopping the creation and publishing decisions from happening at the same time. When you sit down to write a post and publish in the same session, you're making content and distribution decisions simultaneously. That doubles the cognitive load and doubles the chance of posting nothing. Batching 2 or 3 posts at once, even if they don't go out immediately, means you only made the creation decision once per session and the publishing decision separately. The mental overhead drops significantly, and the consistency that once felt impossible becomes something that just happens naturally in the background. If I'm being honest, I've not only been to where this person is, but I'm battling to keep consistent content myself right now, making this very video. Sitting down to post something, second guessing the idea, tweaking the wording, and eventually closing shop without posting anything. It doesn't feel like laziness in the moment. It just feels like trying to get it right. But getting it right every single time means showing up inconsistently. And an audience can't become familiar with someone if they disappear every time the decision gets hard. So before the next video, define your 3 content categories. Not topics, but categories. Making them broad enough that you'll always have something to say. Narrow enough that the decision of what to write about is already made before you sit down. That one change won't make content creation effortless, but it will make it a lot harder for you to talk yourself out of it. If you're working through something similar in your own business and want a fresh set of eyes on it, link with me on my website and we'll try to break it down together.